My name is Elizabeth, and I'm a 30-year-old part-time housewife. We've been married for 5 years, and we finally have a child on the way. It wasn't easy getting here. Hey, Elizabeth. Are you having trouble getting pregnant? I got tested, but it's not that. The doctor said we just need to time it right. Oh, I see. I thought you were infertile and I wouldn't get any grandkids. No, it's not like that, so don't worry. I was planning to kick you out if you were infertile. You don't have to worry about that. In the end, it was just a matter of timing, and we didn't need fertility treatments. My mother-in-law lives within a 5-minute walk and visits us almost every day. My husband, David, says it's reassuring to have my parents close by in case anything happens, but I find it far from reassuring. When the baby is born, I'm sure she'll be so involved in raising it that she won't even notice me. I can't stand that. But since we've already bought a house, there's nothing I can do, so I told David that I wanted to stay at my parents' place, about a 40-minute drive away, for a while after the birth, and he understood. I think I'll stay at my parents' place for a bit after the baby's born. Yeah, that sounds good. You should get some rest. They say giving birth is like being in a car accident, so take it easy and come back when you're feeling better. You sure know a lot about this. Well, it's your first time giving birth, so I did some research. That's sweet. You're gonna be a great dad. Of course. I'm a great dad already. He seemed proud, but something about his reaction bothered me. He looked really happy when I said I'd stay at my parents' place. I appreciated his concern and his research, but I couldn't stop thinking about his expression. I didn't say anything at the time and just focused on getting ready for the birth. 2 weeks before my due date, I headed to my parents' house. David drove me there, saying, "I'll keep in touch," and left quickly without even saying goodbye to my parents. I thought it was strange he didn't say anything, but David's always been a bit awkward and not very close with my family. Being at my parents' house, I could relax more than at home. It was amazing how peaceful it was without my mother-in-law constantly dropping by. 2 weeks later, 2 days before my due date, I went into labor. Hey, David. My contractions have started. My water hasn't broken yet, so I'm not at the hospital. The contractions are getting closer together. If you want to be there for the birth, you should come now. Be there for the birth? Did we plan that? What? We talked about you being there. Did we? I'm busy, so I can't make it. Oh, sorry, my boss is calling. Gotta go. And he hung up. No way, he said he'd be there for the birth. I felt a bit anxious about giving birth alone. But my mom said she would be with me, which made me feel a little better. 10 hours later, my first child, a daughter, was born. She was so adorable, I was overwhelmed with happiness. I sent David a photo and told him that she was born safely. Oh, good, was all he said. I was hoping for a "you did great" or "good job" or even a loving comment like "she's so cute," but there was nothing. He didn't visit me at the hospital even once, and I was discharged without seeing him. Even after I told him I was back at my parents' place, I didn't hear from him, and a month passed, and David still hadn't come to see our baby. Does he not care about his own child? I wondered, feeling anxious. After giving birth, I wasn't in the best health, so I couldn't go back home, and before I knew it, my daughter was already 3 months old. David hadn't come to see us even once. I kept sending him photos, and sometimes he'd say, "Well, she's cute," but there was never a message filled with love. I didn't feel any affection from him, not just for our baby but for me too. Doesn't he want to see us? Did he stop loving me during the pregnancy? However, it might just be because it's a busy time at work. That's the only way I could think about it. But my mom thought differently. She suggested we go back home because it was strange that David hadn't visited at all. I was feeling a bit better, and maybe David was excited to see our daughter growing up. So, I decided to surprise him by going home. My mom offered to drive us, and I was excited on the way. My parents were encouraging me, saying he'd be happy to see us, and I started to believe them. But when we got home, a strange woman answered the door. "Who are you?" Who are you?" When I showed my confusion, she seemed to realize who I was. She looked at me and my baby several times before quickly going back inside. Then David rushed to the door. "What are you doing here all of a sudden? Why are you mad that I came home? Who is that woman?" "Who?" "Never mind. I'll find out myself." I handed my daughter to my mom and hurried into the living room. There I found a 2-year-old boy and the woman who had answered the door, living comfortably as if it was their home. "What's going on here? And what's with this room? I get that there are more baby things, but they're definitely for a boy, right? Our baby is a girl." "Yeah, I know that." "So? Explain this to me right now." "Well, there's no point hiding it now. I was hoping you'd just stay at your parents' place. I'm living here with Lillian and our son now. So, there's no place for you and the baby here." "What? What are you talking about? And that boy, is he your son?" "Yeah, he's my son with Lillian. You could call him my illegitimate child." "So, that's why you knew so much about childbirth?" "Exactly. I couldn't be there for Lillian when she gave birth, so I'm happy we can live together now." "So, you need to leave." "Oh, I see. I'll leave then." "Wow, that was easy. I thought you'd refuse to divorce, and I've been putting up with this. Honestly, I wanted to divorce you myself." "Great. Now we can live happily here, and you can enjoy being a poor single mom." "Good luck. Living in this mansion is amazing." Leaving the two of them celebrating, I returned to my mom. She was worried about me, but I just told her we needed to get back to the car where my dad was waiting. When I told my parents the truth, my dad was furious, but I calmed him down and asked him to take us back to their house. After leaving my daughter with my parents, I went straight to a private investigator to gather evidence of David and Lillian's affair. Since they were living together, we quickly collected plenty of proof, and talking to people around them provided even more information. Lillian was a colleague of David. They met when David was her mentor, and they often spent time together. Lillian mistakenly believed that David, who was in charge of personnel development, was climbing the corporate ladder and bragged to people. I poked holes in the condoms to get pregnant and forced David to take responsibility. Around the time I went to my parents' house to give birth, Lillian quit her job and stopped coming to work. She must have planned to rely on David. After gathering the evidence, I contacted David. "I'm coming home to start the divorce process." "Finally ready for the divorce?" "We'll start our marriage process right after." "I don't care about that. How's Saturday?" "Got it." So, I went back home on the weekend to discuss the divorce. When I walked in, my mother-in-law was there, grinning. "Oh, so you're getting divorced? That's too bad. But I'm happy with my new daughter-in-law and grandchild." "Good for you. You're so cold. Can't you at least look a little sad?" "Why should I? I'm not sad." David chimed in, "Too bad, our kid is cuter. But since Lillian's kid was born first, we have to prioritize him." "You don't love either of the kids, do you?" "Kids are noisy. I never liked them. They just happened. And now, I realize they're not that cute." "You're unbelievable. I'm glad we're getting divorced." "I don't care what you say. I have a young, cute wife now, and my mom loves her." "Yes. She's much better than you." "Great. Can we discuss the divorce now?" "I brought the papers, so please sign them." "I'll file them." "You're surprisingly cooperative." "Are you sure you'll file them?" "Of course. I want this divorce." "Can't trust you." "Mom, could you be quiet now?" "Oh, you're really unbearable." "Anyway, here are the documents for the alimony and child support payments." "What? Alimony?" "Of course. You cheated, so you owe me alimony. And since you acknowledged the child, you're obligated to pay child support. What? I'm not seeing the kid, so I'm not paying support. You're really clueless, aren't you? Even if you don't see the child, you still have to pay child support. You're such a poor, stingy woman. Fine, I'll pay both alimony and child support. Paying alimony should be no problem for you, right? Both of them looked oddly confident. Anyway, I've sent certified copies of the documents to both your company and your parents' house, so please check them. What? Why did you send them to my parents' house? And I'm not paying any alimony. Why do you think you're exempt? You're also responsible. Why should I be? I'm a woman. Talking to someone as dumb as you is a waste of time. I'll take all my belongings now. Do whatever you want. Just hurry up and leave. All right, thanks. I called the movers who were waiting outside and had them come in. Hey, wait a minute. That stuff belongs to us. No, I brought this from my apartment before we got married. Movers, please take the TV, microwave, and fridge. Just leave the contents wherever. I had already explained the situation to the movers, so they placed the fridge's contents on the floor. I burst out laughing at the sight. The dresser and table are mine too. The sofa and bed are also mine, but they're dirty, so could you dispose of them? I'll cover the disposal fee. I calmly instructed them, and they took everything. Wait a minute. We can't live without that stuff. Not my problem. This is what divorce means. But what about dividing the assets? There's quite a bit, right? You have this house, isn't that enough? You're supposedly rich, right? By the way, Lillian quit her job, didn't she? Yes, but unlike you, I'm loved by David, and he promised to support our family. He said I could be a stay-at-home mom. Good for you. If you're so wealthy, you can buy new furniture and appliances. Don't you hate using stuff your ex-wife bought? Well, of course. I was thinking about that, right, David? Let's just buy everything new. Yeah, that makes sense. What a gullible man. I took my personal bank account and the joint savings we had accumulated. Though there wasn't much in the joint account, I didn't really care. David was grumbling, but Lillian said, "Let's just get rid of that woman and build a happy home together." She's pathetic. Yeah, you're right. I went through my lawyer to finalize everything before they could change their minds. I didn't want to deal with any more complaints. And I couldn't risk them changing their minds. I hurried to finalize the divorce and submitted the documents. I was finally single. I could live with my adorable daughter. Nothing made me happier. After everything settled down, I moved out of my parents' house and started living with my daughter. A little while later, David contacted me. Hey. Why did you take my bank book? I didn't take your bank book. I only have mine and our joint account. Besides, there was only about $1,000 in the joint account. What's the big deal? Then where's my bank book? I don't know. Why does it matter? I can't pay the mortgage and utility bills. I got a notice saying the payments weren't made, and I don't know which account they're supposed to come from. They were coming from the joint account, but when we did the paperwork, we changed it to your account, remember? You had the bank book then. Did it go missing? The bank book is here, but there's only $2 in the account. And I'm only getting $3,000 a month. Are you taking some of my money? Or is my salary going into your account? That's impossible. Your salary is $3,000 a month? I was paying the mortgage and utility bills from my salary. You worked for a big company, so you should have been able to pay the mortgage. But you quit when I got pregnant, right? Lillian was your colleague at that big company, so she should know you quit. Lillian thinks I'm working at an even better company. Honestly, I thought so too. My previous job was too tough, but now it's easier. The bigger the company, the easier the work. Are you kidding? That's hilarious. So, you didn't even know your own salary. I had to check my pay stubs online, which was a hassle, and the bills were getting paid. You're just working part-time, so you shouldn't be making much. Actually, during my pregnancy, I started a business. My app was a big hit, and now I make about $100,000 a month. But you said you didn't want my money, remember? Plus, I've already handled everything through a lawyer, so there's nothing you can do about it. What? Did you get it? I was paying the bills with my money, which is why you could spend on Lillian and didn't need to pay any bills. No way. So now I have to pay the mortgage, utilities, and everything else? That's right. Plus, you have to pay for your own retirement and Social Security contributions. I was paying for those, but I can't anymore. No way. What am I supposed to do? I don't care. You need to take responsibility for your actions. Come on, but you're making so much money now. You don't need alimony from me. That's a separate issue. You still need to pay alimony and child support. Why? We can't afford it. That's not my problem. Just the mortgage is $2,000, utilities are $1,000, our phone bills are $600, and we have $4,000 in credit card debt. That's a lot. That's your problem. You spent that money. How did you even get a credit card with your salary? It was from when Lillian and I worked at the same company. She said we could still use it. Well, if you don't pay, you can't use it. Then how are we supposed to live? That's not my problem. Why should I care? We were married, weren't we? We were. Not anymore. And you betrayed me. I'm sorry. If you're rich, I should have stayed with you. Our daughter is cute, too. She could be a model. How about you give me the money she makes? You're unbelievable. Don't you have any love for anyone? Just give me money. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you something. I'm living in a luxury high-rise in the city now. It's amazing. The view is incredible. What? The house we built together may be luxurious. But I didn't know there were even better views out there. And now, I have my adorable child with me. I feel more love every day. Without someone like you around, life is so much better. Hey, is that allowed? Of course, it is. Since the divorce, I've earned even more money. It's all mine now. David was stunned and, with a changed attitude, said, So, if I break up with Lillian, can we undo this? Are you serious? Do you think I'd agree to that? Please, please. I don't know what to do. Well, I might consider waiving the child support. But you have to pay alimony in full. So, hurry up and pay. No way, tell me this is a joke. I wish it were. I said and hung up. 2 hours later, my mother-in-law called. If you had money, you should have said so. What fun do you get from making my son suffer? Your son's suffering is his own fault, isn't it? What did I do? I was the one being betrayed. Maybe, but everyone cheats. Why make a big deal out of it? With a parent like you, it's no wonder he turned out the way he did. What did you say? Your son is the problem, not me. I even let him keep the house. Without that, he'd be completely ruined. Why are you so unlovable? I can't believe it. Then don't contact me. Have your precious daughter-in-law help you out. She's no longer my daughter-in-law. What do you mean? She left. She's not living with us anymore. Did she leave him? Yes. When you took everything and she realized David had no money, she left. She even abandoned the child. Oh my, what about the divorce? They're not divorced yet. Actually, I didn't really care, but it sounded interesting, so I listened. When you left and found out David's salary was only $3,000 a month, she suddenly changed and said this. What? I didn't realize he had so little money. What a disappointment. Hey, I'll give you 3 months to find a job that pays at least $20,000 a month. If you can't, we're getting divorced. And you're taking the kid. She really said that. What a terrible woman. Compared to her, you were better. Now you're successful with your app, right? You have money. David doesn't need to work, and you have a beautiful daughter who looks just like him. She's adorable. Why don't you come back? We can raise her together, and you won't need to pay alimony. Mom, no, you're just an old lady now. Do you have any idea how delusional you sound? Old lady? What? Yeah, old lady. Cut the nonsense. I started my business during pregnancy because David's salary dropped drastically when he left his job. I pitied him and wanted to support him because I loved him then. But now, I don't feel any love. Every time you and David talk, it's about how cute the baby is. Babies aren't just about their looks. They're precious because they're here. Judging them by their appearance is sick. By the way, my daughter doesn't look like David. She looks just like me. People always say she's my spitting image. Nobody ever asks if she looks like her father. Have you even seen David's face? What? You're so rude. People aren't judged by their looks. See? You don't like your son being judged by his looks, yet you judge your granddaughter. You're out of your mind. I have no intention of taking you or David back into my life. Goodbye. I hung up before she could respond. I blocked both David and my mother-in-law's numbers to avoid any further contact. However, I soon received a call from an unknown number. Hey there, cheated wife. How's it going? Who is this? This is Lillian, the woman who stole your husband. Oh, Lillian. The one who left the moment the money ran out. So, the rumors are true. Yep, I left because there was no money. So, I don't need to pay any alimony, right? David is struggling to pay his own alimony and can't cover mine too, right? So, is that okay? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'll give David back to you. He's second-hand now, and there's a little boy with him. But your daughter will be happy to have an older brother, right? I always thought he was too ugly, looking just like David, so I didn't want him anyway. Are you judging children by their looks? Your child is cute, so it's fine. They say daughters look like their fathers and sons like their mothers, right? But since he doesn't look like me, I wondered if he was really mine. You're horrible. Do you have no love for your own child? He's mine and David's. As long as he gets love from David, it's fine. I'm done with parenting and want to be single. But if David gets a good job, I might reconsider. David isn't planning to work. He even came to me for help. So, he really is useless. In that case, I don't want him. You can have him back, and I won't pay any alimony. Bye. Lillian hung up. What a ridiculous woman. I blocked Lillian's number to avoid any further contact. Later, I heard through the grapevine that David and Lillian divorced. Lillian left David and their son for another man. David, stuck with raising their child, couldn't find a new job, and his parents had to cover his alimony payments. They ended up using all their retirement savings on David, leaving them in a dire situation. David tried contacting me several times from different numbers, but I hung up each time and blocked the number, so he eventually gave up. Lillian started seeing someone else and was already talking about remarriage, and I hired a private investigator to find out what she was up to. She was working part-time at a small supermarket, planning to live off her new boyfriend after marriage. She had already moved into his apartment, so I sent a certified letter to her new boyfriend's address. I informed him that Lillian had left her child with David. Apparently, she told her new boyfriend she didn't have any children, so he was furious when he found out. Additionally, he didn't know she was being sued for alimony, which led to their breakup. Hey! You ruined my remarriage plan, you awful woman. Who's awful here? Don't blame everything on me. Because of you, my plan to marry a rich, handsome guy is ruined. He was perfect. Now it's all over. Take responsibility for your actions. Your mother called, saying she'd make sure you pay the alimony. I know. She's been calling non-stop. I wondered what kind of parents raised someone like you, but they seem decent. How did such a great family produce someone as irresponsible as you? Shut up. You've made my life miserable. Right back at you. You made my life hell. But that was just temporary. My life is great now. I've gotten rid of nuisances like you, David, and my mother-in-law. I won't answer even if you change numbers and try to contact me. Go live with your parents and learn some responsibility. I hung up and went to the phone company to change my number. With a fresh start, I began a new life. Raising a child alone is challenging, but with my mom's help, I'm managing. My app development is on track, and I quit my job, so now I work from home. Watching my child grow and living a happy life is what lies ahead for us.